Are you planning to buy studio headphones? Whether you're mixing, producing, or recording, you need to watch this video before making any headphones purchase. Because in the rest of this video, I'm gonna give you 6 things to consider before buying studio headphones, from the hardware aspect to the audio aspect, as well as things that many people overlook. I will give you all the information you need to make the perfect choice of studio headphones. But before we start, please make sure you hit the subscribe button so you're the first one to know every time I release new information about music production. Also, in the description, you will find a free PDF that talks about the basics of vocal mixing in the field of pop and hip-hop music. Just so you know, let's get started. Okay, the first thing to look at before buying studio headphones is whether they are closed back or open back. In short, closed back headphones have a closed outer shell. In other words, sound cannot escape through the back. This means that sound can only go in one direction, into your ears. This type of headphones is generally preferred for recording because the outer shell is closed. There is then no risk of backing sound getting into the microphone during recording. As for open back headphones, as you will have understood, these are headphones with an open outer shell. This means that sound can escape through the back. And it also means that if people are in the same room as you, they will hear what you're listening to. But open back headphones have the great advantage of having super reliable audio, whether in terms of dynamics or frequency response. You can't beat open back. This makes this type of headphones highly suitable for mixing, mastering, or even production. The second aspect is the frequency response. What you need to keep in mind is that studio headphones doesn't necessarily mean neutral in audio terms. Some studio headphones boost or cut certain frequencies quite drastically, but that doesn't make them bad headphones. In fact, you simply have to try to adapt them to 2 things: your tastes and the musical genre you're into. Your tastes, because as human beings we all have our preferences and listening to music should always remain a pleasure. And the genre, because each one has its own codes in terms of frequency spectrum. You know, for rap music you will focus on the power of the bass, for pop on the precision of the treble, and I don't know, for rock music, for example, on the mid-range. By the way, I would advise you not to rely 100% on this kind of frequency response graph. Your ears will give you many answers, not the graph. Number 3. Durability. Always keep in mind that a high price doesn't necessarily mean that the device has good durability. You know, it's not always the priority of the manufacturers. Using studio headphones that last a long time will save you from spending a certain amount of money several times rather than spending a little more money once for better durability. There are 3 things that can give you good information about the lifespan of studio headphones. First, the reviews. Whether on Amazon, YouTube, or any reliable retailer, reviews are usually a very good indicator. Next, robustness. If you are lucky enough to physically hold, several potential headphone choices, there's a good chance you will be able to judge lifespan from that. And finally, the possibility of buying spare parts. It could happen after a few months or a few years that one of the components of your headphones is broken. And if no spare parts are available on the market, you will have no choice but to buy new studio headphones. But if there are spare parts separately sold, then you can easily replace the defective part and just continue to use your headphones without spending huge amounts of money. Aspect number 4. The price. This aspect seems quite obvious. Any sensible person will always adapt their purchases to their budget. But if I can give you just one piece of advice, it's not to think extreme. Let me explain what I mean. If you have a certain budget for studio headphones, don't break your budget to the extreme just because a certain pair of headphones is expensive and looks cool. If you do, you'll be disappointed for sure. But on the other hand, if you're hesitating between, say, 3 headphones and the one you prefer is $50 more expensive than the others, go for that one. Keep in mind though that this is a long-term investment, so putting in a little more extra money doesn't have to be an obstacle. That's all I have to say about the price aspect. Number 5. Comfort. Comfort is an aspect that many people underestimate when choosing headphones. Yet it's essential, as this is a tool you're likely to be using for many hours at a time. And I can swear that uncomfortable headphones can kill your productivity, because after several hours, instead of focusing on the creative aspect, your brain will only focus on the pain in your ears or around them. Many things can influence comfort, but it's the quality of the headband and ear pads that really matter. Now, I wouldn't say that comfort has to take priority over sound quality, but it's definitely something to consider when making your choice. Just keep that in mind. And the last one is the impedance. For those who don't know, impedance is the electrical resistance at the input of a device. For headphones, the greater the input impedance, the weaker the signal that comes out of your ears. This means that above a certain impedance, some amplifiers are no longer capable of boosting the electrical signal enough to deliver correct level to your ears. And that's why you need to pay close attention to this, especially if you plan to use your headphones with consumer amplifiers, such as, I don't know, a computer jack output, for example. I would say that above 200 ohm, you should ideally use your headphones with a dedicated amplifier. But below that, any amplifier should do the job. Normally. So that is it for this video. As you can see, there are a lot of small things you have to pay attention to when choosing studio headphones, but every aspect is more or less important for each person. My best advice is to physically try them if you can, because that's what will give you the more information about every aspect. Thank you for watching all the way through. If you have any questions, make sure to post them in the comments, and before you leave, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to this channel if you want to get more content like this one. See you soon.